out and then work in, it doesn't work as well. So, always think about, okay, how much time do I have to complete it? You can always take a picture and add to it later. But sometimes I choose to just pick one part of it. And this was an example of, now this wasn't plein air, but it was an example of one of the mission doors in San Antonio. We did a walk, well not a walk, a mission. There were 7 missions in San Antonio, and we drove to each of them. And some of them are really intricate, and it's like, whoo, what do you do when you have you're faced with this very detailed scene, and you want to capture something? Then find one part of it. Don't draw the whole thing. This one I started with a red plumb line to try to get symmetry. So if I have a line down the center, then I can work from there.
You want to take a picture of that?
No, go ahead. And y'all were commenting on my purse. My purse was an example of one of my lessons in my journal that year. This was blind contour of my purse.
Wow.
Where I'm looking at my purse but not my drawing.
That's pretty
Which
good.
one was blind contour?
This one.
Oh,
That
okay.
looks pretty darn good.
Then this one is I'm looking at my purse and just drawing in ink. And this one is I drew it and painted it. So, but honestly, if you want to practice and improve your drawing, if you do the blind contour first, then a contour line, that's the edges and
you were
other
looking
things.
at
I was
paper.
looking at both what I'm drawing and my paper at the same time, and then I redrew it here. But by the time I redrew it here, I've already studied it, because I start studying it here and the bends and how it angles up and what's because when blind contour is you're studying that object, you're trying to move your hand when your eyes move. And it's very good with eye-hand coordination, and it'll really help you out painting outside. In order, if you trust your eye-hand coordination, then you'll be able to do some things that you might not have even thought to do. Also wanted to show you some of these. These are some of my first entries of buildings. We've gone to I took a field trip with some high school students I was asked to help chaperone. And I was at the High Museum of Art, and this is the High Museum, and there was a big poster here, and there was an old church here, and then buildings in the background. And I just wanted to get a feel for where I was. I wasn't worried about the detail, and so what I did is I paid attention to the negative space that created the sky. A lot of times when I paint the shape of the sky, then that helps me frame where the building is going to be. So I wasn't too concerned about accuracy. I do understand perspective, and we're going to go over that a little bit. Buildings are going to be a lot more interesting if you see a shadow and a light side. Here I have definitely a light side and a shadow, a light side and a shadow, light side, shadow, light side, shadow. It helps give dimension to your building. This one, I didn't really capture the light and shadow, but I captured the spires, and this is downtown Macon. So you want to. You see this amazing building, and you go, oh, I want to draw that, but you go, don't worry about every detail. And again, working with watercolor is helping me simplify my oils.
Did you do that standing outside?
No.
Looking at that?
No.
From the picture?
Either that or I drove up and sat and parked in front. I don't remember.
Okay.
I think that's what I did, because in this class she wanted us to do an indoor prompt and an outdoor prompt, and I wasn't comfortable doing outdoor prompts, and plus it was probably cold. This was in February. And so a lot of times I would drive and park somewhere and paint through the window at something. So, but having the perspective, I always try to be more looking at a corner of the building where one corner of the building is going to be closer to me. So one side will go this way and one side will go the other way. And now this, I didn't indicate where the light source was. So if I'd have made one side, see that light on this side is pretty much the same as the light on this. So if I'd have shadowed one side, that would have been better. But I was new, didn't know. Pink poodles, practicing trees, like the strokes, whether coming toward you or away from you, is better. Here was another. This was just a simple. Just think of the church's blocks, and look for shadows that hit other parts of the building. And when you add the shadows on the other parts of the building, it can help you with what's going on. And I was on the back side of this building. You can see the shadow on this side, so the light was on the other side. So there wasn't a whole lot going on here, but I at least left room for the windows. And the vantage point from where I was, it was going to get taller as it got closer to me. Bless you. This one I did have to draw a little bit ahead of time, just because I wanted to save the white that was on the right side of the water tower. So, all right. So I think that. Oh no, this is when you're in a bus. I was in a bus driving, or not driving, huh? That would be scary. Riding in a bus. She was further up in the bus, sitting, looking at her iPad. But what's funny about this is, buses don't stay still. And so you might see one part of a building, then you'll see another building. So I don't know, like here's the Olympic flame thing and the Coca-Cola. This represents the Coca-Cola, and there was something with the Red Cross at the top. I mean, I would just look out the window and add a building.
You were brave.
So,
That's Atlanta.
That's Atlanta.
We call that one the pencil building in the middle.
So, it was fun to try to entertain myself. And of course, capturing a little bit of the shadow on this side of the building helped read what it was. But these are very simple, and those are just spots to indicate windows, and then lines to indicate the lines of the windows in the architecture. Now this was, I went to Coleman Hill, if you know where that is in Macon. There was a law school building, and this one, this is where I drew a little grid, and I had a little grid viewfinder to try to stay within the grid viewfinder. I'm not very good at that. I just have a tendency just start one place and go and see what fits. But again, instead of doing, this is the simple part of I simplified part of the law building, because if I look at the whole thing, it's quite massive. And I was like, well, I'll do some stairs, just horizontal lines, columns, vertical lines, squigglies to represent the Corinthian columns. I'm not trying to, get it exact. And this is the dental marks, the dentaling, that looks like teeth.
Yeah.
And then these windows were further away. So if it's further away, I don't really want to pay that much attention to the close detail. And then while I was there, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to just attempt to do a couple of the spires or whatever, and I spent more time on this one.
So first you draw it with pencil, then you go over it.
Yes, I did on these.
Sometimes I find my painting looks nice and I go with pencil.
Yeah, it was line first. Yeah, line first, no setup on this one. This one was paint only. So it's good to note. See, this was my learning journal. So this was my very first journal. that I started, I think I showed y'all the first day, it's my first official art journal. I started 1/6/16. So it's been 4 years.
Wow,
And, you know, with the, you had
I
the,
love that.
you know, draw your supplies and test your supplies, see what they do. I mean, it just went on and on. A lot of it was blind contour, learning, you know, it wasn't just, I mean, her focus was not watercolor. It was, you know, capturing some ideas and how to do that. Today's focus is building, so that's why I started with that. And see, when I started hiking with Brad, this was the journal I had, and so I just did I did not take this with me. These are all photographs that I worked from. Toilet area, you like that?
Your
It
carrots.
said Kephart Shelter, and enough said. You know?
Can you do a drawing journal class like after this series? In the lesson.
Well, you just practice your drawing. Yeah, that road made me sick, can you tell?
Yeah.
See the winding,
Oh, Lord, it makes me.
I didn't want to go down that road again. Ugh.
I love
So,
hurricane.
you know, this was, the hurricane. Now that was, I was wanting to go to the airport in Atlanta. And that's where we were. And I needed it to go through before I could get to Atlanta.
Ooh, can I get
Your
that
wheel.
picture?
Go
Huh?
back up.
Go back one.
I love the simplicity. I got bogged down, as you saw in my journal, on the Las Vegas, that one scene with the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
And
didn't
this is
see
so
that.
much simpler and better.
Oh, don't overthink. Don't overthink it. And I sent y'all, did you get, especially Trish, did y'all get the pictures that I sent this morning or yesterday? There was a
Yes.
series of them. Dadgum, I don't like that.
Is that a marshmallow water tower?
It is, it looks like a marshmallow water tower, but it's a water tower that's in Texas that has a big blue smiley face on it. And I just had to put it in my journal because it just made me happy.
It's so cute.
And I don't even, it was on the back roads of Texas. I don't even remember where. Here's another example of a drawing, is a continuous line drawing of a steeple, New Sweden Evangelical Lutheran Church. It's a one continuous line. And that is an amazing church that is full of stained glass if you are ever in that area. It's not too far from Austin. It's supposedly the most photographed church in Texas. But the stained glass is incredibly, and it's just incredible. And we went there looking at the stained glass because my brother works with stained glass, and nobody was there, but the doors were open. So we went in and looked and took pictures. And it's in New Sweden. You have to go there. You just don't happen by it. We had to GPS try to find it. But yeah, it was pretty fun. So, and then this was, that's about the end of my journal in here. And then I went smaller, which I'm much more comfortable with. So, what I want to do to it already started over. I'm going to stop this.